So now you know about overloaded methods. Well, you probably remember that constructors are a type of method as well. And guess what? We can have overloaded constructors too. The concept is exactly the same as regular overloaded methods. Overloaded constructors are just two constructors with the same name, which has to be the same name of the class, but they have different parameter lists. And you learned about how to identify and create different parameter lists in the last video. So in this video, I'm going to show you an example of how to create and use overloaded constructors in Java. So going back to our good old dog class here, if you remember, we have the class, some instance variables, and some other regular accessor and mutator methods in the class. Now we already have this constructor here, but guess what? I can add more constructors in the class if I want to. And if I add more than one constructor, it automatically becomes an overloaded constructor, because remember that the constructors must have the same name as the class, meaning that all constructors will have the same name. So I'm going to create another constructor inside this class. I want this constructor to have no parameters. So to create this constructor, I will write public, followed by the class name, which is dog, open parentheses, and then this is the part where we put in parameters, but remember that I want this constructor to be empty. I don't want it to have any parameters. So I will leave the parentheses blank and move on to the body of the constructor. Now in the body of the constructor, I'm supposed to assign values to the instance variables over here. But since there are no parameters, I don't know what values the user wants me to assign to these. Over here, I just use the parameter values dog name, dog breed, etc. to assign values to the instance variables. But over here, since there are no parameter values, I will assign basic values of my own. So for the instance variable name, I'll assign it the name dog. For breed, I'll also assign it dog. For age, I will assign it, and for color, I'll assign it white. Now this class has two constructors. And now when the user wants to create a dog object like these from the dog class, they will have the option of using one of these constructors as the blueprint. The computer will know which constructor they are using based on whether or not they enter parameter values. If they enter 4 parameter values, then the computer knows that the user is using this constructor because it has parameter values. And if the user enters no parameter values, the computer knows that it's using this second constructor, since the parameter list is empty. Now, if the user uses no parameter values and uses this constructor, then the instance variables of that dog object will automatically be set to these values. And now if the user wants to change the values of these instance variables, they will need to use mutator methods, such as change age, and we can create more mutator methods that change the values of other instance variables, such as color, name, and breed as well. Now let's try to create a dog object that uses the second constructor. So let's write dog4, which is the name of our new object, equal to new dog, and then let's leave these parentheses blank because we're trying to use this second constructor, which doesn't have any parameters. Now, when the code is executed, the computer is going to know to call upon this constructor for this dog4 object. So let's try to print out one of the attributes, which are also called instance variables, of our new dog object, dog4. So let's write system.out.println dog4.getBreed. Now, when this line of code tries to print out the breed of this dog4 object, try to guess what the output would be. You can see that it prints out dog, because this constructor over here automatically assigns both the name and the breed the value dog. So this is how you can use overloaded constructors in Java.